You were made to be ruled. In the end, it will be every man for himself.
Welcome back to Kevin's Cavalcade of Cinema. I'm your host, Kevin Pilati. Today we'll be reviewing a small indie film known as Marvel's The Avengers. Ever since the Easter egg at the conclusion of the original Iron Man film that featured Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, The Avengers has been in perpetual motion. With each new Marvel entry, including Thor, Captain America, Iron Man 2, and The Incredible Hulk, we've been building towards this momentous event. Luckily for all of us, it's good. Since the inception of the modern comic film era, and we'll call that between 1998 to 2000, since Blade and X-Men came out around then, comic films have been pretty much just deconstructed. They take their more entertaining characters, guys like Wolverine and Storm and a vampire hunter, and they turn them into gritty, violent beings. Unlike their other modern comic film counterparts, The Avengers actually constructs the fun version of the superhero. The Avengers plot is pretty darn simple. Okay, so we have a bad guy. His name is Loki. He's from Thor. And he's an adopted child, so he has some issues there. Not to say that all adopted children have issues, but he does. Loki, having been scorned back in the film Thor, takes vengeance upon his brother and his father by taking Earth as a sort of trophy. All the other members of the Avengers basically spend the duration of the film getting together in order to beat him. Directed by cult icon Joss Whedon, The Avengers is hilarious, filled with all kinds of comic references and modern humor that organically grows from the script. The Avengers will have you rolling over in laughter, which is bizarre for a superhero film, because usually they're not like that. Basically, Whedon designs the script to give each character their time in the sun. When they're not out kicking ass in some form or another, they're having some kind of interesting exchange. The rule of thumb for the Avengers in the comic books is, all of them fight amongst one another. You can't have that many different personalities and not have them fight a little bit. It wouldn't make sense. Like Whedon said multiple times during his press junkets, these characters have no business being in the same film together. So, he makes them fight one another for legitimate reasons. That's what makes the Avengers unique from most Marvel films. Usually you'll see one protagonist at the center and everything revolves around them. This time, it's more of an ensemble piece. Each performance from every actor in the film is wonderful. If they're not growing into their part in a more mature way, they're just continuing to land what they've already done well. Robert Downey Jr. is still smart and witty. Chris Evans is still the preeminent do-gooder who can't help but be perfect. And Thor is still the extremely physical and extremely enjoyable demigod who loves to pick up his hammer and bash bad guys over the head. The real character highlight out of all these people, though, is the Incredible Hulk. Marvel brought in Mark Ruffalo, who gives Bruce Banner a type of humanity and enjoyable nature that just helps out everything. When he's not hulking out and bruising on people, he's legitimately trying to help others. This is a complete shift. Usually, he's just running around trying to avoid people who want to hurt him. This time, he's actually interesting. Tom Hiddleston's Loki in this one is a lot more fiendish. Borderline devil, but it's also very loyal to the comic books. He tells half-truths, he lies, he manipulates. All things that are common from the books. The real disappointment of this movie, though, for me at least, was Samuel L. Jackson. He's a nice character actor. Hell, sometimes he'll even be great. But in this one, he just comes off a little bit too wooden. I feel like you could have put a number of people in there and they would have accomplished the same thing. It's mostly forgivable, but I would have liked to see a little bit more badassness. Just a little bit more, not a lot. It's the film's third act that really stands out as the draw here. If you're not seeing Captain America amputate some poor guy's arm, you're seeing Thor pick up and body slam some poor SOB. Amidst all that, You also see the Incredible Hulk soar through the air while bashing bad guys into a building. Which is a bit overkill, but it makes the Hulk fun. It's what he should have been all this time. Watching Iron Man soar through the buildings of New York City also gives quite a thrill. It's nice to see him behave so nimbly. In the original Iron Man, he was a bit stiff. In the second one, it seemed a bit routine. In this one, it's really kind of a jaw-dropper. It's exciting. The Avengers also features many geek-friendly moments. Marvel fans are likely to flip their lid when they see the helicarrier take off. It's a stunner, and there's wonderful music behind it. Speaking of music, Alan Silvestri's score is so-so. Great at points, but not exactly Hans Zimmer. I mean, let's face it, who is really? Throughout the film, Silvestri tries to be evocative of John Williams. Sometimes he is, sometimes he isn't. Amidst his many press junkets before the release of the film, Joss Whedon stated that more than anything else, he wanted to make superheroes fun again. With this film, it appears he's certainly done that. If you haven't figured by now, I highly recommend that you go see the Avengers. Soon. One more thing before you go. Make sure to stay after the credits. I'm sure that's a given by now, but just saying, stay after the credits. Check out the link in the underbar for the weekly Threesome podcast on WordPress.com for more content just like this. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, enjoy your time at the movies.